Hello everyone and welcome to another tag video. I haven't done a tag video in a while and this one looked pretty cool and interesting to get me back into doing them. It is of course the Birthstone Book Tag. So these questions are based around the birthstones. Everyone has one according to whatever month you were born in, and they each have different meanings or associations attached to them. So that's where the questions come from. I'm not entirely sure who created it, but if I find out I will leave a link to their channel in the description down below. So you may or may not notice during this tag that I found it very difficult not to give a Harry Potter related answer to every single question. I'm incapable of doing a tag video without mentioning it once, so therefore it does slip in more than once, as you will see. But where I could give alternatives, obviously I have done. So the first question is obviously January, and the birthstone for January is garnet, which is apparently used for warding off dark forces. So the question is pick a dark character, and for this I have gone for Kronos in the Percy Jackson series. He is the king of the Titans who wage war against Olympus and the gods. That's pretty much the overriding story arc of the Percy Jackson series. The reason that I've chosen to show you this book, book 4, Battle of the Labyrinth, is because this is the point where I feel he's at his like peak darkest, if you know what I mean. He's very evil, he's very manipulative, he's very thoroughly dark, and that's the reason I chose him for this. Obviously there are loads of dark characters I could have chosen, but I feel like they often have like redeeming qualities to them, or elements of light, or reasons why they're so evil, and I couldn't really think of anything like that with him, so that is why he is my darkest character. The next question is February, and the birthstone for February is amethyst, which is a lovely purple colour, and that is associated with royalty. So the question is pick a book with regal qualities, and for this I have gone for A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. This and its sequel, A Court of Mist and Fury, obviously are set in a royal setting. They have royal characters, they have that kind of all royal regal intrigue to them, and that's why I picked them. Also really stylish, graceful writing style, so I kind of felt like that kind of slotted into it as well. The next question is March, and the birthstone for March is aquamarine, which is a lovely wishy-washy colour. So the question is pick a wishy-washy character or a character who is a follower. So just before I say this, little disclaimer, I do not think this character is wishy-washy at all, but I think he is a little bit of a follower, and that is Draco Malfoy, particularly in the Half-Blood Prince and the later Harry Potter books. That's not to say that he doesn't have any leadership qualities at all. I think he does amongst his Slytherin peers, but I think when it comes to kind of serious dark forces, he is very much a follower. Obviously he becomes a Death Eater, and that's not necessarily his fault, it's just like the pressure he feels from his parents and the way he's been brought up. So no hard feelings towards him, but I do think in the later part of the series he is very much a follower. I think he's a wonderfully written, complex character, but he is ultimately a little bit of a follower. So yeah. The next question is April, and the birthstone for April is diamond, and obviously there is a phrase called diamond in the rough. So the question is pick an underrated book, and this book isn't terribly underrated, but it doesn't get the hype and the gush that I think it deserves, and that is The Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. If you watch BookTube, you will have heard of this book, you will have seen it around, but I don't think people really talk about how great it is enough. And I absolutely love this series. It has a sequel, Invasion of the Tearling. It's going to be a trilogy. The third one's coming out in November, which I'm so excited about. And I love it, and I don't think enough people talk about it, so therefore I feel it's underrated. The next question is May, and the birthstone for May is emerald, and that is used to balance energy. So the question is two characters you think balance each other well, and for this I have gone for Finch and Violet in All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. They both have a preoccupation with death. Finch is suicidal and Violet has recently lost her sister and she's struggling with the whole idea of death and loss. They're both very different personalities. Finch is like the loner guy and Violet is one of the pretty popular girls at school, but because of their preoccupation with death, they come together, they do a school project together, and they realise they have a lot more in common than they thought they did, and they do definitely balance each other out well because they're both the same and different at the same time, if you know what I mean. So yeah. The next question is June, and the birthstone for June is Pearl, which is associated with loyalty. So the question is to pick a loyal character, and for this I have gone for Dobby. Chamber of Secrets book 2 is where we first meet him, and he is just the most loyal friend that I think Harry could ever have had. And it's so heartbreaking what happens to him. The things he does for Harry are just so beautiful. He's such a good friend, and I will never get over what happened to Dobby. I don't think any of us will. So I'm just gonna stop talking about him now because it makes me very sad. Yeah. The next question is July, and the birthstone for July is Ruby, which is a lovely blood red colour. So the question is a book that makes you angry, and for this I have gone for Only Ever Yours by Louise O'Neill. There are other books that make me angry that you guys probably will know if you've watched my channel for any length of time, but I don't really mention this one much, and when I read this I was very angry because it just reminded me how terrible the world is and how messed up people's perceptions of how women should be seen are. Because although this is dystopian fiction, it's supposed to be, it's not. It's very, very real. The ideas in this book come very much from the real world, and it just reminds you of that. So yeah, it's all about how, you know, women should be upholding these perfect standards of beauty and things like that, and the pressures women feel to do that. And it's just terrible. It really is. And it made me so angry because it made me realise that these things are real. So yeah. The next question is August, and the birthstone for August is Peridot, which apparently pales in comparison to other gems. So the question is a supporting character that you prefer to the main character, and I don't actually have a set of these books, but my answer is Christina from the Divergent trilogy. I'm not the biggest fan of Tris Prior, as you may or may not know, but Christina I think is an awesome kick-ass heroine. I would absolutely have loved it for her to be the heroine of that trilogy. I may have even enjoyed it a little bit more, so yeah. The next question is September, and the birthstone for September is Sapphire, which is a lovely calming blue colour. So the question is pick a book that calms you down, and for this I have gone for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, particularly the illustrated edition. I just absolutely love this book. I will show you some of the artwork. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I know you guys have seen this before because everyone is just insane about it, but it is just absolutely beautiful, and the story in it is obviously one that I read when I was a kid, so it just kind of takes me back there every time I reread it, and it just is so nostalgic and so calming, and I need calming down quite a lot these days, if I'm honest. So yeah. The next question is October, and the birthstone for October is Opal, which is a lovely iridescent gem. So the question is pick a beautiful shiny book cover or a shiny beautiful character, and for this I have gone for the Darkest Minds trilogy by Alexandra Bracken. I've got all three of them here and they are all absolutely gorgeous. These are the American paperbacks, and see they've got a lovely sort of shiny iridescent feeling to them. They actually look nicer in a slightly darker light, but for once I have pretty good lighting today, so yeah, but they are just absolutely gorgeous, and they do have that kind of shiny iridescent feel to them. So yeah. The next question is November, and the birthstone for November is Topaz, which is associated with resilience. So the question is pick a character who rises to the top in the face of adversity, and I couldn't think of a better one for this than Tyrion Lannister in the A Dance with Dragon books, both part 1 and part 2. At this point he has been banished from King's Landing, accused of killing his nephew and his father, and as we know from the TV series now, he has now made his way to Meereen and has joined Daenerys's inner circle, which I'm so happy about. Throw Arya in there as well, and that's like perfect dream team for me. Seriously, I'm absolutely delighted. If you guys actually are all caught up with season 6 on Game of Thrones, let me know. We can talk about the finale because I have a lot to talk about there, so it'd be awesome to discuss that with somebody else. So yeah. Anyway, the last question is December, which is my own birth month. My own birthstone is blue zircon, which is apparently associated with friendship, which I'm so happy about because my own birthstone is associated with something as wonderful as friendship. And the question is a fictional friendship that you would like to be a part of. Obviously, it's these three. I would love to be in a little super gang with these three. Can't really say any more. And that is it for the Birthstone book tag. I hope you enjoyed it. If you feel like you might want to do it yourself, then please feel free to. I will just mention that my Supernatural giveaway is closing at midnight on July the 8th, which is this Friday. So I will leave a link to that video in the description down below. If you guys want to enter it, you must be a subscriber and you must answer the question that I do say in that video. And it's an international giveaway, so anyone can enter it if they wish. Obviously, I will leave all my social media down below as normal. I hope you're having an awesome day, and I will see you very soon for another video. Bye bye.